Sal Masekela from NBC Sports over at Russia. Sal, I have to apologize for you
Good
first
job.
because throughout the course of the first hour and a half, I have been badly butchering your last name.
It's okay. Sal Masekela, 5'10", 195 pounds.
Attaboy. All right, Sal, paint the picture for us out there right now. How have your experiences been, weather-wise, security-wise, so far?
My experiences have been pretty cool. Like, I've been here for a week, so I've gotten to watch it go from sort of a ghost town when we first got here to now the full influx of people getting here for the start of the Olympics tomorrow. Security-wise, it's like nothing I've ever seen before. I feel like I take my clothes on and off like 5 times a day, getting in and out of the International Broadcast Center and going to events. Like, we have to clear security once we get on the premises off of the bus. So in that space and place, I've actually never felt safer. It's kind of over-safe, what they've done security-wise. And then, there's certain parts of town, like I'm up here in Krasnaya Polyana in the mountains, where our hotel is amazing and done. And then you walk up the street and you look at a building that's more of a facade, and then you look inside and you're like, okay, they still have some work to do. But the vibe has been great. The people have been great. The mountains here are insane. We got to go and ride and snowboard a couple of days ago, and it's world class. And I'm just pumped to be here at my first Olympics.
Sal, you're talking about the security, and we here, even back in the States, are hearing so many stories about the undrinkable yellow water, about the fact that 6 out of 9 media hotels are not ready for the Olympics. What's the worst story you've heard? Because there are some good ones out there.
As far as the bad stories, the worst I heard was a friend of mine who got in here 4 days ago, and she was supposed to be at the hotel closest to the extreme part, like up on the Rosa Couture mountain. And they just told her when she went to check in, like, we're not really ready yet. So she came down and she stayed here at the Marriott for a few days. And then today I saw her in the lobby and I was like, what's your deal? She's like, I think they said they're open, but I'm just trying to stay here. We've had it so good, and everybody on the NBC team has had it so good. Like, the Marriott here is as nice as any hotel in America. Like, the food's great. Like, just the whole setup. I did a little post on my Instagram sort of not mocking the people who are complaining, but just saying, like, hey, it's bad in some places, but we got it pretty good.
He's Sal Masekela, NBC Sports Network, live from the Olympics over in Russia. Sal, why did Shaun White bow out of the slopestyle?
I think Shaun White bowed out of the slopestyle to protect his legacy. I think that he came into these games pretty battered, recovering from some injury. He took a bad knee to the head in Colorado training last week, and then he took a slam at the slopestyle course and hurt his wrist. And I think he stopped and he looked and he said, look, outside of Shani Davis speed skating, I'm the only American that's got a chance to do what's never been done before, to win 3 gold medals in a row in the same event. He's 27 years old. This is probably his last Olympics, and if he wins gold next week in the Superpipe, it cements his overall legacy. And I think that he made the choice looking at the big picture. I thought that, I don't know if you guys heard the comments that Sebastian Toutant and Max Farreau, the Canadian snowboarders, made, saying that he was scared. And I thought that was pretty foolish on their part, because there's one thing that Shaun is not scared. The guy's never been afraid of anything. I think just he has more at stake. Those guys are bummed that they wanted to beat Shaun White on the biggest stage in the world, and they had a good chance to. And when he dropped out, he took that away from them. So I think that's where their emotions were coming from. But for Shaun, like I said, if he wins next week, no one's even going to remember that he dropped out of slopestyle.
How much truth is there, Sal, to the idea that slopestyle course is more dangerous than it should be?
Not much truth. I mean, slopestyle is dangerous. It's a dangerous in and of itself. And when you get to an event, when you have a slopestyle event at the Olympics, some of the normal things that happen over the course of a week before an event starts are more scrutinized at the Olympics than they would be at a regular snowboard event during the season. I mean, a lot of times you show up and the guys ride the course and they have to get some things right, and they have to reshape the jumps so that the takeoff and the landings match better and everyone's happy. So what happened here is when guys first got here, the takeoffs of the jumps were really high, and the landings weren't steep enough to sort of support that kind of a takeoff. So guys were landing what we call deep, very deep, where they're not landing in the transition and they're coming down hard, and you had a few injuries. And the riders complained. There were some riders who were like, it's not that big a deal, but a lot of the riders complained. They worked with the technicians and the builders, and they got it right. So that today, I mean, at the qualifying, everybody was stoked. So I think people in the media who don't pay attention to snowboarding except once every 4 years when it's at the Olympics, they got some buzzwords, and they heard Sean say that it was dangerous, or I forget the exact word that he used, but people sort of ran away with the dangerous story. It's an inherently dangerous sport, and they have to make adjustments at every event before it starts.
Sal Masekela on the scene in Sochi. Do you have any inside scoop on the opening ceremonies?
I have no inside scoop on the opening ceremonies other than I'll be watching them from inside the broadcast center because I wasn't cool enough to get a ticket.
Well.
I did see some rehearsals the other day. I saw like the people that they were loading in to rehearse, like hundreds of people and dancers, but they've been super quiet about what it's going to be. So my guess will be as good as yours when we see it go live.
Sal, give me one name of the person that we're all going to know once this is said and done. Once the Olympics are over, who's that one name that's going to stick out from Team USA?
I think the guy or the person that we're going to know that we didn't know before will be Danny Davis. Danny Davis will be a household name after these Olympics. He's on the men's snowboard team, and he's sort of like what Sean used to be, I guess you could say, in that he's the long-haired guy, and he's a guy who sort of walks to the beat of his own drum. And he's pretty much like, I call him the non-jock of pro snowboarding. He's a super hippie and plays guitar, and he speaks his mind. But his snowboarding comes from a very stylish place, and he has his own sort of personal expression that people get fired up about. So I would definitely watch for Danny Davis.
All right, Sal, I can't let you go without asking what the boys have been asking me to ask all interview is, have you had beers yet with Dan Patrick, and can you give us an update on what Dan's up to?
I saw Dan Patrick for the first time in like 10, 11 years since we both worked at the mothership when we were at the talent orientation meeting the other day. So I was all excited, and I walk up next to him and I'm like, hey, Dan, this is Sal Masekela. And he looks down. He's such a damn giant. And he says, how you doing? Are you good? Are you keeping well? That's good. And that was our interaction. So we haven't had beers yet.
Has his hair been affected by the cold weather?
No, absolutely not.
Thank goodness.
That thing, that's just I hope that they can make a cast of that hair and put it in the Smithsonian for future generations to know what it's like to be blessed with just a genius head of hair.
Good to talk to you, Sal. Stay warm out there.
Hey, thanks, guys. All the best. Take care.
That's Sal Masekela, NBC Sports Network, live from Sochi.